CompTIA Cloud Plus Certification Exam Last Minute Review. Question 1. For Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, the team must consume a finished business application through a subscription. It also wants to avoid a design where building or maintaining the application stack would create unnecessary operational work. Which cloud model offers the most appropriate balance? Option A, a community cloud. Option B, software as a service. Option C, function as a service. Option D, hybrid cloud. The correct answer is option B, software as a service. A complete provider-operated application minimizes local installation and infrastructure responsibilities for the customer. This approach gives Willow Pharmacy the required behavior while keeping the implementation aligned with the workload's actual demand. Other options may be useful elsewhere, yet they do not provide the capability emphasized by this scenario. Question 2. For its prescription fulfillment system, Willow Pharmacy wants to continue processing with no material interruption after a component fails. Which architecture pattern is most appropriate? Option A, automatic scaling. Option B, horizontal scaling. Option C, elasticity. Option D, a fault tolerance. The correct answer is option D, fault tolerance. Simultaneous redundant operation and rapid failure handling preserve service delivery when a component is lost. The scenario calls for this capability because the prescription fulfillment system depends on the specified behavior rather than a general cloud feature. The nearby alternatives are less suitable because a recovery process that allows downtime would not meet the zero-interruption objective. Question 3. Engineers reviewing Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system describe the intended behavior as follows: hardware virtualization provides isolated guest systems and supports applications that require a full operating system. Which compute architecture does this description identify? Option A, a virtual machines. Option B, a serverless computing. Option C, stateless application tier. Option D, a containers. The correct answer is option A, virtual machines. The described behavior supports the requirement to run complete operating-system environments with strong workload compatibility. This approach gives Willow Pharmacy the required behavior while keeping the implementation aligned with the workload's actual demand. Conversely, a lightweight process-isolation model may not support the required operating-system dependencies. Stressed about your CompTIA exam? We can take CompTIA exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. Before the next production change to Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, the team must retain infrequently accessed data at the lowest practical cost. Which data-service choice should be prioritized? Option A, a relational database. Option B, a read replica. Option C, object storage. Option D, archive storage. The correct answer is option D, archive storage. Cold tiers trade retrieval speed for reduced storage price and suit long retention periods. In this scenario, the capability addresses the immediate design objective and avoids solving a different problem. The nearby alternatives are less suitable because keeping dormant data in a high-performance tier would waste budget. Question 5. For Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, the team must allow private instances to initiate outbound internet connections. It also wants to avoid a design where public addresses on every internal instance would weaken isolation. Which network architecture offers the most appropriate balance? Option A, dedicated private connection. Option B, a network address translation gateway. Option C, a transit hub. Option D, domain name service. The correct answer is option B, network address translation gateway. Source translation provides egress for updates while avoiding unsolicited inbound connections to private addresses. For the prescription fulfillment system, the governing factor is the requested behavior, and this approach provides it directly. The distractors are legitimate cloud techniques, but they address different requirements from the one being tested. Question 6. The current proposal for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system has a drawback: a completely inactive site would require more work before service restoration. The team still needs to maintain core services in a secondary location and scale them during disaster. Which recovery design should replace the proposal? Option A, multi-zone deployment. Option B, warm standby. Option C, pilot light. Option D, recovery point objective. The correct answer is option C, pilot light. A minimal continuously running foundation reduces cost while preserving a faster restart path than rebuilding everything. In this scenario, the capability addresses the immediate design objective and avoids solving a different problem. A nearby concept would leave the central requirement unresolved even though it could improve another part of the environment. Question 7. Engineers reviewing Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system describe the intended behavior as follows: a small validation exercise exposes compatibility or performance issues before a full commitment. Which planning decision does this description identify? Option A, landing zone. Option B, capacity assessment. Option C, service minus level requirement. Option D, proof of concept. The correct answer is option D, proof of concept. The described behavior supports the requirement to test critical assumptions with a limited non-production implementation. For the prescription fulfillment system, the governing factor is the requested behavior, and this approach provides it directly. By contrast, a production-wide launch would make early design errors more disruptive. Question 8. During release planning for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, engineers are instructed to deploy instances from a pre-approved hardened machine image. Which provisioning practice should be implemented? Option A, declarative template. Option B, parameterization. Option C, state locking. Option D, golden image. The correct answer is option D, golden image. A tested baseline accelerates consistent provisioning and reduces startup configuration work. For Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, that capability maps directly to the stated technical requirement. A different choice would be weaker because building every host from an unverified base would increase deployment variance. Are you looking for CompTIA exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access CompTIA exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get CompTIA exam answer key today. Question 9. A proposed design for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system will be approved only if it can redesign the application to use cloud-native patterns. Which migration approach satisfies that condition? Option A, refactor. Option B, retire. Option C, database replication cutover. Option D, repurchase. The correct answer is option A, refactor. Substantial code and architecture changes can improve scalability and resilience when long-term benefit justifies the effort. For the prescription fulfillment system, the governing factor is the requested behavior, and this approach provides it directly. By contrast, minor configuration changes would not achieve the required architectural transformation. Question 10. The current proposal for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system has a drawback: checking only correctness would not establish throughput capability. The team still needs to measure behavior under expected and peak load before launch. Which release practice should replace the proposal? Option A, or rolling deployment. Option B, a blue-green deployment. Option C, performance test. Option D, security test. The correct answer is option C, performance test. Controlled load validation identifies capacity or latency problems that functional tests may miss. For Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, that capability maps directly to the stated technical requirement. The decision depends on the stated constraint rather than on selecting the most broadly familiar cloud technology. Question 11. Willow Pharmacy is preparing an update to its prescription fulfillment system and needs to isolate critical workloads from development administration and quotas. Which configuration choice is the strongest choice? Option A, secrets manager. Option B, private service endpoint. Option C, separate production account. Option D, resource quota request. The correct answer is option C, separate production account. Administrative and billing boundaries reduce accidental cross-environment impact and support stronger access controls. The design decision fits the prescription fulfillment system because it targets the exact availability, security, deployment, or operational need described. By contrast, placing every environment together would expand the blast radius. Question 12. For Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, the team must run scheduled transactions from an external perspective. It also wants to avoid a design where internal resource metrics may appear normal while a public workflow is broken. Which observability method offers the most appropriate balance? Option A, alert threshold tuning. Option B, synthetic monitoring. Option C, application performance monitoring. Option D, metrics dashboard. The correct answer is option B, synthetic monitoring. Active tests detect availability and user-path failures even when no real users are currently active. The requirement is satisfied by matching the cloud capability to the prescription fulfillment system's stated operating condition. The decision depends on the stated constraint rather than on selecting the most broadly familiar cloud technology. Question 13. Architects supporting Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system need the solution to report departmental usage without transferring the actual charge. Which optimization action should they choose? Option A, scheduled shutdown. Option B, orphaned-resource cleanup. Option C, show back. Option D, a spot capacity. The correct answer is option C, show back. Visibility supports accountability and optimization when internal billing is not yet desired. Applied within Willow Pharmacy's environment, the approach resolves the central constraint without expanding the solution beyond its purpose. The main risk of choosing a different approach is that providing no team-level view would limit ownership. Question 14. Engineers reviewing Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system describe the intended behavior as follows: write-protected recovery data limits ransomware or malicious deletion of backup sets. Which recovery operation does this description identify? Option A, application-consistent snapshot. Option B, failover exercise. Option C, retention policy. Option D, immutable backup. The correct answer is option D, immutable backup. The described behavior supports the requirement to prevent protected copies from being altered during a defined retention period. The requirement is satisfied by matching the cloud capability to the prescription fulfillment system's stated operating condition. A different choice would be weaker because ordinary writable copies may be damaged by the same compromised credentials. Question 15. A production-readiness review for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system requires the team to replace cryptographic keys under controlled policy. Which operational practice belongs in the plan? Option A, decommissioning checklist. Option B, key rotation procedure. Option C, configuration management database. Option D, post-incident review. The correct answer is option B, key rotation procedure. Periodic and incident-driven rotation limits exposure while preserving access to protected data during transition. The choice is appropriate for Willow Pharmacy because it acts on the requirement identified in the scenario, not merely on a related concern. The main risk of choosing a different approach is that abrupt deletion of active keys could make data or services unavailable. Question 16. For Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, the team must periodically confirm that current permissions remain justified. It also wants to avoid a design where assuming old permissions remain valid allows privilege creep. Which identity control offers the most appropriate balance? Option A, multi-factor authentication. Option B, access review. Option C, just -in-time privilege. Option D, role-based access control. The correct answer is option B, access review. Recertification finds accumulated, transferred, or unnecessary access that normal provisioning may not remove. The proposed use aligns with the workload constraint and supports a defensible vendor-neutral cloud decision. Other options may be useful elsewhere, yet they do not provide the capability emphasized by this scenario. Question 17. The current proposal for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system has a drawback: default provider control would not provide the required ownership. The team still needs to let the organization control key policy, rotation, and revocation. Which protection control should replace the proposal? Option A, customer-managed key. Option B, hardware security module. Option C, certificate authority. Option D, tokenization. The correct answer is option A, customer-managed key. Customer control can satisfy governance requirements that provider-owned key management cannot fully meet. The choice is appropriate for Willow Pharmacy because it acts on the requirement identified in the scenario, not merely on a related concern. The alternatives solve adjacent design or operational problems instead of the specific issue identified here. Question 18. Engineers reviewing Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system describe the intended behavior as follows: inline inspection can stop identified malicious flows rather than only reporting them. Which network security control does this description identify? Option A, intrusion prevention system. Option B, microsegmentation. Option C, web application firewall. Option D, egress filtering. The correct answer is option A, intrusion prevention system. The described behavior supports the requirement to detect and actively block suspicious network activity. The proposed use aligns with the workload constraint and supports a defensible vendor-neutral cloud decision. Conversely, passive monitoring would not prevent the detected traffic. Stressed about your CompTIA exam? We can take CompTIA exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. For Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, the team must label information according to sensitivity and handling needs. It also wants to avoid a design where applying identical controls to all data can either overspend or underprotect. Which governance control offers the most appropriate balance? Option A, a data masking. Option B, retention schedule. Option C, data classification. Option D, a data residency policy. The correct answer is option C, data classification. Classification determines appropriate access, encryption, retention, and monitoring requirements. Applied within Willow Pharmacy's environment, the approach resolves the central constraint without expanding the solution beyond its purpose. The alternatives solve adjacent design or operational problems instead of the specific issue identified here. Question 20. The design brief for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system states that the environment must limit spread and damage while preserving required evidence. Which security response best meets the brief? Option A, security posture management. Option B, chain of custody. Option C, incident containment. Option D, vulnerability scanning. The correct answer is option C, incident containment. Controlled isolation reduces ongoing harm before eradication and recovery steps begin. The proposed use aligns with the workload constraint and supports a defensible vendor-neutral cloud decision. Conversely, immediate destruction of affected resources could lose evidence and context. Question 21. The current proposal for Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system has a drawback: unrestricted promotion could place unapproved changes into production. The team still needs to require authorized review before a sensitive environment is changed. Which DevOps practice should replace the proposal? Option A, automated rollback. Option B, pull request review. Option C, pipeline approval gate. Option D, a continuous delivery. The correct answer is option C, pipeline approval gate. A controlled gate separates automated validation from business or security authorization. The scenario calls for this capability because the prescription fulfillment system depends on the specified behavior rather than a general cloud feature. A nearby concept would leave the central requirement unresolved even though it could improve another part of the environment. Question 22. Prior to expanding Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system, administrators must apply and maintain operating-system and application settings at scale. Which automation practice should they use? Option A, a configuration management. Option B, idempotent script. Option C, event-driven workflow. Option D, policy validation in pipeline. The correct answer is option A, configuration management. Centralized configuration tools reduce variation and can remediate drift across many systems. This approach gives Willow Pharmacy the required behavior while keeping the implementation aligned with the workload's actual demand. Conversely, individual manual administration would produce inconsistent hosts. Question 23. A cloud incident involving Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system cannot be resolved until the team can determine why healthy application instances are not receiving traffic. Which troubleshooting action should be prioritized? Option A, check domain-name resolution. Option B, measure packet loss and latency. Option C, test hybrid tunnel status. Option D, validate load-balancer health checks. The correct answer is option D, validate load-balancer health checks. Incorrect probe paths, ports, or expected responses can remove functional backends from service. In this scenario, the capability addresses the immediate design objective and avoids solving a different problem. The nearby alternatives are less suitable because changing client DNS would not return an endpoint to the healthy pool. Question 24. A cloud incident involving Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system cannot be resolved until the team can determine whether current behavior is abnormal for the workload cycle. Which diagnostic action should be prioritized? Option A, a compare with performance baseline. Option B, review CPU saturation. Option C, measure storage latency and IOPS. Option D, inspect database connection limits. The correct answer is option A, compare with performance baseline. Historical comparison prevents normal seasonal peaks from being mistaken for incidents and highlights genuine deviation. The design decision fits the prescription fulfillment system because it targets the exact availability, security, deployment, or operational need described. By contrast, one snapshot without context can lead to unnecessary changes. Question 25. An incident affecting Willow Pharmacy's prescription fulfillment system requires engineers to locate malformed infrastructure code before provisioning. Which corrective action provides the most relevant next evidence? Option A: a compare declared and actual state. Option B: a validate template syntax. Option C: review dependency order. Option D: review monitoring coverage. The correct answer is option B: validate template syntax. Parser or schema errors must be corrected before the deployment engine can evaluate resource intent. In this scenario, the capability addresses the immediate design objective and avoids solving a different problem. The nearby alternatives are less suitable because increasing resource quotas would not repair invalid structure.